Thank you for joining us today. We wanted to provide an important update regarding the Opelika Baby Jane Doe case. As you all know, on January 28th of 2012, the skull and bones of a small child were found in the Brookhaven trailer park off of Hurst Street here in Opelika. The beginning of that investigation, we enlisted the assistance of the FBI's evidence response team in recovering those remains. The remains were then sent to the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia, where they determined the child was a black female, likely between the ages of 4 to 7 years old. Her autopsy notated fractures to her skull, arms, legs, shoulders, and ribs, totaling more than 15 individual fractures that were attributed to blunt force trauma. These injuries all had evidence of healing and had occurred sometime prior to her death. In addition to the physical abuse, the medical examiner believed Baby Jane had been malnourished and determined that the manner of death was a homicide. Since that day, Baby Jane has been a part of our OPD family. Sergeant Alfred White and our detectives have spent an unmeasurable number of hours working on this case over the past 11 years. They have reviewed over 15,000 case files from the Alabama Department of Public Health and investigated thousands of tips which have led us all over the United States. However, none of those tips, none of those files were able to lead us to her name. Fortunately, science and DNA has developed over the years and successfully helped us identify Baby Jane's parents. In January of 2022, DNA was further extracted in attempts to retrieve DNA suitable for genealogy testing. Othram Labs successfully extracted DNA from the scalp and Astria Labs from the hair. A comprehensive genealogical profile was built from Othram's DNA extract, and the profile was uploaded to a DNA database. An experienced genealogist, Dr. Barbara Ray Venter, who works closely with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, was then assigned to the case. In October of 2022, Dr. Ray Venter identified Baby Jane's biological father as 50-year-old Lamar Vickerstaff, Jr. Vickerstaff was born and raised in Opelika before enlisting in the U.S. Navy. During his lengthy U.S. Navy career, he resided in Norfolk, Virginia, Honolulu, Hawaii, and Jacksonville, Florida. In December of 2022, Opelika detectives traveled to Mayport Naval Base in Jacksonville, Florida, where Lamar Vickerstaff is currently stationed, to notify him of his daughter's death. During the meeting, Vickerstaff did not provide investigators with any information on the identity of Baby Jane. Detectives then met with Lamar's wife, Ruth Vickerstaff. Ruth, who's been married to Lamar since May of 2006, advised detectives she did not know Lamar's daughter or who may be the mother of Baby Jane. Later that month, detectives met with 37-year-old Sherry Wiggins in Maryland, who confirmed she was the biological mother of Baby Jane. Wiggins is a native of Norfolk, Virginia, and stated she gave birth to a baby girl named Amor Wiggins in January of 2006. Sherry Wiggins provided documentation showing that Lamar and Ruth Vickerstaff obtained legal and physical custody of Amor in 2009, at which time Sherry's visitation with Amor was suspended. Sherry also provided documents indicating that she has continuously paid child support to Lamar Vickerstaff since 2009. Detectives reached out to the school boards and pediatric clinics in several states where Lamar and Ruth Vickerstaff resided and determined that Amor was never enrolled in school, nor was she ever reported as a missing person. With this information, Opelika detectives met with the Lee County District Attorney's Office to determine charges related to the death of Amor Wiggins. On January 17, 2023, Lamar and Ruth Vickerstaff were arrested in Jacksonville, Florida. Lamar was charged with felony murder. Ruth and Lamar were charged with failure to report a missing child. They are currently being held at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office pending extradition back here to Opelika. This case remains under investigation. We still need the public's assistance in gathering any more information on Lamar or Ruth or their relationship with Amor and potentially their time spent here in Opelika. To that end, we've continued to work this investigation. It does remain open. In fact, just yesterday, we executed a search warrant at a trailer near where her remains were found in conjunction with the FBI's evidence response team, still trying to gather further information and evidence related to this case. If you have any information, please contact the Opelika Police Department Detective Division or our secret witness hotline. Those numbers will be made available to you. Tips can also be submitted through our Opelika Police mobile app, and if you want to, you can remain anonymous when you submit those tips. Our hearts go out to Sherry Wiggins, who was a tremendous help in solving the case and helping bring justice to her baby girl. I want to commend the genealogist, Dr. Barbara Ray Venner, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, Othram Labs, Estria Labs, the FBI, and our detectives for all of their hard work, because without it, we may have never known her name. We also want to recognize other agencies who've assisted us with this case. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office in Jacksonville, Florida, NCIS, the Lee County District Attorney's Office, and the Baltimore County Police Department in Maryland. I also want to make a special mention of the late Lee County Coroner, Bill Harris, who until his death in June of last year continuously worked towards identifying baby Jane. I have no doubt he is celebrating with Amor today.